Hello, welcome to Kevlar's Quest, the Modern Life podcast. I'm Kevin Ejezi. Today's quest is sometimes the problem is the best that you can possibly get. Sometimes the problem is the best that you can possibly get. Take a look around. There is no shortage of problems in the world. Big ones, small ones, personal ones, global ones. It's easy to feel frustrated or overwhelmed. But here's the strange truth. A lot of the problems we might see and feel, actually, they may be the best possible version of something worse. I know that sounds weird, but think about it. Sometimes, when we try to fix a problem, we end up creating even bigger ones. That's because most problems don't have the easy, cheap, or perfect solutions. So, what we are left with is the least bad option. And that's what we call the problem. Once you accept that, you start to approach, once you accept that in your mind, you start to approach things with more patience and caution. You stop rushing to fix everything and start asking, is this problem actually better than the mess that I will have trying to fix it? Let me give you a simple example. When I record these talks that I normally have, I read from a script like I'm doing now. Why? Because when people just talk of the all the whole intricacies of a particular thing, they tend to ramble, they repeat themselves, or they lose track of their point. Yes. And editing tricks can hide that, but the content still ends up being kind of boring. So I write everything down to keep it sharp and focused. That's why I don't like making long talks. I just go straight to the point and explain whatever talk that I have to say. But that means I sometimes glance down at my notes like I'm doing now. I've tried various solutions like memorizing, using a board, using slides, but every fix came with new problems. More stress, more distraction, more cost. Eventually, I realized that the original problem, me looking down, was actually the best option. So I stuck with it. Yes, like I just came back from my regular work and things that I had to do now. And I just said, let me just drop a talk that just came to my mind. And it's easy for me to drop. It's easier. I don't need to start editing any video or anything. I just drop it the way it is in my heart for anybody who cares to listen. So that stuck with me until maybe when I have more time on my hand, then I'll be able to start editing and do all those gimmicks that, sometimes sight is, when you edit a lot of videos, sight is catchy. People want what they will be watching. But actually, I started this podcast so that people could listen, even in their vehicles when they are going to work or wherever they are going to. People can listen as they go to bed and they can really understand what I'm trying to say. And probably that will help them through any problem that they are going through. Now, people sometimes offer advice, and I appreciate it, but they don't always see the full picture. Every part of a system is connected, and changing one thing can mess up a bunch of others. That's why many problems are actually their own best solutions. You only realize that after you start tinkering. Let's take this idea into the world of psychology. People can be difficult, selfish, angry, cynical, hypocritical, but even those traits might be serving a purpose. Dysfunction often has a function. It's doing something important, even if it's not ideal. Take cynicism. It's not great. It blocks joy, sincerity, and connection, but it also protects people from pain, heartbreak, embarrassment, and disappointment. So if someone is cynical, telling them to just go to therapy might sound helpful, but it skips over a lot of context. Therapy costs money, it takes time, it's emotionally draining. Things often get worse before they get better. So the question becomes, is the pain of healing worth the risk of being hurt again? For some people, cynicism is the best they can manage right now, and that's okay. This doesn't mean things can't change. Life is always shifting. Maybe one day the cost of healing will be lower, or the pain of staying stuck will be higher. But until then, we have to accept that some problems are the best solutions available at the moment. When you start to see things this way, people make more sense. When you start to see things this way, people make more sense. Society makes more sense. You stop expecting perfection and start understanding the trade-offs and the compromise you need to make. And that shift in perspective is a kind of peace in your heart if you really understand it. Okay, that's our quest for today. Please subscribe, like, and share. Someone out there needs to hear this message. Maybe someone like you. Let's spread strength and clarity to those navigating this journey. We'll talk more in future episodes. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks for listening and take care.